Hello and welcome, friends, to Reptales. I am Lacey. This is Lieutenant Dan, our wonderful co-host. He's so charismatic. Look at this gentleman. What a good, sweet boy he is. He's gonna be our little buddy. And today, we are gonna be talking about the wild and wonderful land, the exotic place known as Canada, and the Narcisse snake dens in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. So, buckle in and let's have a chat about the Narcisse snake dens. So, this Narcisse snake dens, they are located about an hour and a half outside of Winnipeg, Canada, which is in Manitoba, the province of Manitoba. I feel like I should enact my Minnesota accent and throw the long O's in there. Maybe say bag instead of bag, like a reasonable person. But today, Narcisse snake dens. They are the location of the largest gathering of snakes in the world. Now these snakes, they're not cobras, they're not pythons, they're just your regular, common garter snake. There are up to 70,000 garter snakes that stay there over winter, which is wild. I would love to check it out one day. And then I can also stock up on like all dress chips, which would be great because Canada. So garter snakes, their Latin name is Temnophius satalis, which is kind of fun to say. They're from the family Colubridae, and like most snakes, they'll eat rodents, amphibians, fish, insects. They're little guys, so they kind of eat what they can get. Garter snakes are a communal species, which is not common amongst snakes. Normally they like to hang out by themselves. Like Daniel here, he just kind of likes to do his own thing. He's an eternal bachelor. Isn't that right, buddy? Yes, he's just having a good time, tongue flicking away. Say hi to the people, Daniel. Say what? Good job, buddy. You're so sociable. Maybe you are a communal snake. Just today. So, garter snakes, in captivity, they can be cohabbed in groups. You can keep them, multiple snakes, in one enclosure, provided that the enclosure is big enough and they have enough space to kind of do their own thing when they feel like it. Garter snakes, why are they at these Narcisse dens, right? So garter snakes, in the winter, they do what's called brumation, which is similar to hibernation, but hibernation occurs in mammals. When you think hibernation, you think bears, right? You think, oh, bears, they get real fatten up for winter, and they go and chill in a cave or something, doing bear stuff. So when mammals hibernate, they don't eat, they don't drink, they're not really active. They just kind of go into sleep mode. Now snakes, they do, and reptiles in general, they do something similar, which is called brumation. Now brumation, the only real difference is that snakes will drink water. They'll drink water, they will be active, very lightly active. They'll move around and kind of change position, and they just kind of chill. They're just kind of couch potatoes for the cold months. Now, the Narcisse snake dens include 4 limestone caverns that are about the size of like an average living room or bedroom, and 4 divided by 70,000 is a lot. Almost 20,000 snakes per den, which is insane. Can you imagine 20,000 garter snakes in your bedroom? It is Indiana Jones's worst nightmare. Even though they are totally harmless to humans, some people might have a hard time dealing with that. Nearly 20,000 snakes in a little cave the size of a bedroom. Now, these caverns, they lie below the very dense frost line, which means in the winter, these dens are below the ground that has frozen solid, and they maintain a more stable temperature, probably close to be 30s, 40s, maybe 50s, cave temperature, so they don't freeze to death and die, because Canada is notoriously cold. gets to maybe 50 degrees below zero-ish. I think this year with wind chill, I feel like they hit -60 at one point. Point being, Canada be cold. Canada be cold, Canada be wild. Why do the snakes hang out in these dens? Why are they all tightly packed being besties from September to April every year? So the area around Winnipeg, the Manitoba area, is very flat. It's farmland, it's grasslands, marshes. It is, I would call it Nebraska, but probably a lot more interesting. Now this is because way back in the Ice Age, there were the ice sheets, right? That would come down all the way down to Missouri, Iowa, central Illinois, and they would grind everything flat, so flat, and occasionally leave boulders here and there. Now, the area is also made out of limestone. It used to be an inland sea way back in the day, like dinosaur times back in the day. It used to be an inland sea, which is how the limestone is created. I'm no geologist, but inland sea means limestone. Limestone means caves and caverns. Like here in Missouri, we are littered, we are lousy with caves. Minnesota has got some pretty cool caves that I'm a fan of. But the point is, these caves are a really great place for these 70,000 garter snakes to hang out and sleep and just chill at their winter retreat. So these snakes, they find this area, these snake dens, and they're like, wow, this is a great place to not freeze to death. So that's why they're there. It's warm enough, it's protected, it's under the frost layer, and it's kind of hard to get into, which is great if you're a snake, which is not great if you're a predator or a human trying to eat our little snaky friends. Now, these dens at the Narcisse snake dens, they are connected by I think a 3-kilometer long footpath, so you can traipse through the wooded area and enjoy nature, which is fabulous. We love it. Do more. Touch dirt, friends. Touch earth. Yeah, it's good for you. And at each den, there's like a little viewing platform to where you can sit up there and you can look at all these snakes. So these footpaths connect the dens, right? And it's basically like a carpet of garter snakes, which is kind of cool. Now Canada does not have that many snakes, right? They'll have like a rubber boa. Every now and again you get plains skinks, which are a type of lizard, garter snakes, and I think there's like four types of garter snakes, and I think there's one other type of snake, but I do not recall what it is. But they really only have like 4 or 5 reptile species that really hang out in Canada. So it's not about the variety, it's about the quantity. They don't have a lot, they don't have many species, but they got a lot of what they have, which is exciting. Now, if you're going down these paths from den to den, you're still gonna find snakes along the path because it's 70,000 snakes. They cannot be contained. They're wild animals. They're gonna do whatever the heck they feel like doing. So they're gonna be along these paths. And they usually kind of come out of brumation for about 1 to 3 weeks, typically beginning in late April, early May, when it's starting to get not freezing cold and they can survive and go out and do their thing. Now, this is also when the garter snakes have their breeding season. And I think that their breeding behavior is kind of fun. So when the snakes start to come out of brumation, the male snakes will come out first and they'll hang out waiting for the ladies. And now when the lady snakes do come out, it is game on, people. It is on. So you'll have one female snake minding her business, just being like, la la la, life is great, I'm a lady snake. And all the male snakes, up to 100 male snakes per female, will form what's called a breeding ball, where they'll just dogpile and try to lock up and make tiny babies and fertilize the little eggs. And what they do is they'll kind of slither along each other and try to hook up, which is see, I'm trying to find his little cloaca. I'm trying to show off your cloaca again, Daniel. So we got this thing called a cloaca, which is right here. So what the snakes will do is the male snake will try to get his cloaca wrapped up around the female's cloaca, and that's how they transfer the sperm to fertilize the eggs. And something that's really cool about snakes is it's not a winner-take-all kind of thing, right? So a clutch, the eggs that the female lays, that clutch could have multiple fathers, which is so cool. So you have a lot more genetic diversity in one batch of eggs than you would if it was just one daddy for all the eggs, which is kind of cool. So this goes on, for that 1 to 3 weeks, that kind of period. They'll have these breeding balls all over the place, just snakes as far as the eye can see. And when the breeding is coming to an end, all the females dip. They're like, okay, I'm bored. Well, not bored. We're like, I'm gonna go find food now. I'm gonna go explore. And they spread off into the plains of the Manitoba wilderness to do as they will. The males, they kind of hang out for a little longer. No one's really sure why they're hanging out longer. At least the last time I checked, no one was really sure why the males were hanging around after the females left. My theory is that maybe they're like hoping that like maybe there'll be like 1 or 2 more females. That's my theory. That's my hope for them, that they're just like making sure they're all out of options before they go on their merry ways to be snakes and enjoy their life. And then snakes go off and do what snakes do. Now, there was an issue several years ago where about half the population of the garter snakes that stay at the Narcisse dens, where their population was halved. And at first no one was really sure why, but it turns out they were getting hit by cars. There's a roadway nearby, and the thought was that they were getting hit by cars when they were trying to cross the road. So what they did was they put tunnels. They put these little culverts under the road so the snakes could pass under the road. But if you have just a tunnel and hope the snakes find it, that's not always going to work. So then they took these smaller kind of liners, had them way out and kind of funneling all the garter snakes towards these tunnels so that the garter snakes wouldn't get hit by cars and they would use the tunnels. And for a wonder, it worked. And now they are back to having historic levels of garter snakes in the area, which is so cool. Which is something that's amazing about the Narcisse dens, because they are all about conservation and saving their wild spaces, wild places, and the animals that live there. And it wasn't even a hard fix. This wasn't even a multi-million-dollar thing. It was a culvert under a road with some netting, okay? Conservation doesn't have to be complicated. Conservation can be simple fixes, simple, sensible fixes. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You just have to try to think outside the box, or think outside the den, as it were. But it's an important thing. I think it's really cool. It's a wonderful example of how you can protect nature without spending millions of dollars. It's so cool. It's so important. And people from all around the world come to check out the Narcisse dens every year. Hopefully one day I will be one of them. But that's it. That's our short and sweet tale about the Narcisse snake dens in Canada. If you have questions, leave them in a comment below. If you have a story you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a like, give us a comment, give us a subscribe. And as some people have mentioned to me lately, they haven't been knowing when I post a video. So hit that little bell icon and let yourself know when I upload a new video. I try to upload a new video every week. But that is it from Lieutenant Dan and I. You guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time.